More water takes more time to boil. The size of an opportunity, the size of a market, the size of an objective is directly correlated with how long it's going to take to accomplish it. Let that sink in for a minute. It's a very common sense idea. However, it's a real difficult one to accept as you're pursuing these objectives. We have a tendency to be impatient. And the quote says, "We overestimate what we can do in a year, but we vastly underestimate what we can do in 10 years. A mentor of mine had told me at one point that you want to be the oldest, not the biggest. What he meant by that is bright flames burn quick. For every Tiffany out there, there's 1,000 Alex and Anis. There's companies that started off on the right foot, but missteps, mismanagement, missed opportunities led to a demise far earlier than it needed to. If you look at some of the companies with the greatest brand values, and whether it's consumer products or business services, what they've really done well is avoiding the mistakes, doing the right things, oftentimes the boring things, over and over and over again, with the objective of boiling a very large amount of water. Patek Philippe watches made a quote famous where they said, "You never really own a Patek Philippe, you just look after it for the next generation." And we like businesses that have the same concept, the same founding thesis. And that doesn't mean that a business doesn't sell itself at some point, that it doesn't take on capital, that it doesn't evolve and change in many ways, but just having the idea of building a business for the very long term, not thinking about the exit the day of the founding, is often the differentiator for excellent companies. And we're lucky enough that all of our clients are these types of companies. We have a recent client we're working with to sell their company that has objectives, milestones, hurdles in place for the next decade. Now, they don't plan to own it for that whole duration, but they've always thought that way. That's how they've built the foundation of their business. And now that they're seeking to exit it, the foundation of the business is strong. And so when this boils into the M&A process, or the capital raising process as well, it adds a tremendous amount of value. One of the first questions any prospective acquirer or capital provider is going to ask is, what does the future hold? What are the opportunities? What's the addressable market? How do we achieve these things? And so the company that says, I don't know, we were just going to build this thing until we could sell it now, and that's your problem, is obviously not going to be in as good of a position as the company that said, well, we had these things planned for the next 5 years, these things planned for the next 7 years, these things planned for the next 10 years, and if we really knocked it out of the park, we were going to pursue X, Y, and Z. That story, those opportunities, the catalysts to achieve them, the fact that it's been fleshed out and thought of, not only shows that there's a lot of future and incremental opportunity, but provides more confidence that what's been built already has been built intelligently, has been built in a durable manner, and is a business that's going to last and continue to be fruitful. So the saying goes that we've heard a lot as of late is that money flows where attention goes, and falls into this great gray area of things that are partially true. As much as people say all attention is good, it's just not true. Companies that are the most successful, not the most bombastic, not the most inflammatory. There's a new one of those every 6 months, trying something new, saying something different, getting the same groups of people angry, right? But it's the company that solves the problem the best. And who tends to solve the problem the best? The people that have been thinking about it, obsessing over it the longest. The people, tying back to the notion, tying back to the title of this video, who have been aiming to boil the largest amount of water and have been consistently and tirelessly working towards that for years and years and years. So it's true, money does flow where attention goes, but where attention is earned for doing the right things, for being the best at solving the problem, and whether that takes the shape of a product, a service, or otherwise. So that's the idea for today. More water takes more time to boil. Hope the week's going well for everyone. Keep pushing forward. God bless. I'll see everyone next time.